They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense.
Harold, King's Roulette, King's Club. So we got an interesting show that we're going to do tonight, and an interesting goal that we're going to have, and how we're going to go about it. It's a little bit different, but I'd like to start with something a little more somber. As a reminder, I sometimes look around at our world and I think about what the struggles are and how difficult it is, and then I reflect back on the blessings of me having made it to this age, that I lived through a lot of things. And one of the changing moments in my lifetime was at about 5 minutes after 2 p.m. in November of 1963, when I was an 11-year-old. I had been told that the President of the United States had been assassinated. It was a shaking moment to me. I couldn't think of somebody putting a rifle out of a window and shooting a president in the head with his wife next to him. As an 11-year-old, it stunned me to think that such a thing could happen. And then that 2 days later, the assassin himself would be killed on live television that I saw after a church service I'd come home from. And then not too long later, the Attorney General of the United States, the same role that Merrick Garland has today, was assassinated in a kitchen in Los Angeles. The President of the United States' younger brother, who was going to be the president, he was already 30 points ahead in the polls, and he was assassinated. And then the greatest civil rights activist in the history of the world was assassinated in 1968. All during that decade, three of the most prominent people in the world are assassinated, and we mourn, recognize tomorrow being Martin Luther King Day. That is the day that we name for Dr. King. But I think back to the turbulent 60s in which I lived, and I said, I don't know that there's been another 10-year period that's been quite like that the president, the attorney general, and the leading civil rights activists in America were all gunned down. So maybe the 21st century isn't so bad after all, when you think about it. But just something for everyone to think about and ponder the blessings that we have, in spite of all the things that we might want to be better. This is still the place where it is. This is still America. And we still have all these freedoms to do the things that we need to do. And I'm so delighted to be with the Kingdom tonight. We are going to work a little bit of a unique thing, but first I want to make a little bit of a shout out to some new members that have joined us. We have some new kings: Bobby, the genius Mill Power Raymond, that comes up with so many great ideas and is working so many things out there. Welcome aboard, sir. It's so good to have you. Kenny Owen, Mark, Regions Beyond You, Sean is a prince, George is a king, Tony is a prince. We got Chuck Ritter. We worked hard to get Chuck in. Thank you, Chuck. You're in as a prince, and we're delighted to have you. And we got Team Penn in as a duke. I hope I didn't get any of those wrong. If I did, well, blame me. But welcome. It's so nice to have all of you guys and to keep growing our kingdom. Tonight we're going to have a $1,000 bankroll. We're going to do King's columns. We're going to select based on the dozen that is hit. The first dozen will be column 1. The second dozen will be column 2. The third dozen will be column 3. We're going to play Fibonacci, beginning at $2 units and graduating up by 2. But then we're going to stop if we get to the 6th, quote-unquote, bullet. Ordinarily the 8-unit bullet. Tonight it will be the 16th unit bullet because we're going by 2. Then we're going to revert to a D'Alembert recovery, because I'm going to begin advocating stronger and stronger how good Fibonacci is, but up to a point. We don't want anybody drowning with Fibonacci. And I think he makes a terrible lifeguard. He's not going to save you. And so we don't want to go that way. We'll rely on D'Alembert to try to save us. So let's get started. And we've got an 11 up there. That's in the first column. So let's in the first dozen. So let's play $2 on column number 1. And we're looking to make $150 tonight. And we have a wheel in motion, and we have a winner right away. A nice $4 winner, which will keep us right there with a $2 bet. And that is the entry level for this Fibonacci round. There's a 23, moves us to the second column for a repeating $2 bet. And there's a 1. We're going to come back to column 1 for a $4 bet. Moving up the Fibonacci ladder. I'm going to try to keep this right. You're probably going to catch me in some kind of mistake tonight, though. So that's a $4 loss to the 5, which shows in column 2, but it is a first dozen number, so we stay in the column number 1 bet. $6 Fibonacci going up the chain, and a win at $6 with a 22. Puts us back to entry level on column 2. We're looking for $150 tonight. And as I said, I'm not even going to play around. It's still random either way. So we're just going right back in with the second level Fibonacci on the second column. And now we've got a $4 bet up there on the third column for the 33. And there's an $8 win. With a 12, puts us back for a $2 bet on column number 1. And we repeat that bet. Takes us to a $4 bet on column 2. And a $6 bet on column 1. And there's an intersection. Nice score right there. Gives us a $2 bet to start another round of Fibonacci. The 13 puts us on the second column, the 13 being in the second dozen. And that 6 puts us on that second bet in column 1. There was some talk about triple martingale because of the escalations of D'Alembert 20, 40, 60, 80 that was in the comments. We don't triple martingale ever. We're not going to triple martingale. The triple martingale was the way that I played with, we'll go to $4 bet on column 2, was the way that I played on my personal that I showed in here a couple of times. But the triple martingale is for the most dangerous of systems that you're going to accept an 8% loss. And it's not for anything that I'm going to advocate here. We go to a $6 bet up top there. And I'll never do it. As a matter of fact, we're doing so much better with some of the things that we're doing that we're never going to triple martingale. I'm never going to advocate it or even suggest it. So we got a $10 bet now on column number 1. Going up the Fibonacci scale. We have one more level of Fibonacci before we will try a recovery. And that's going to give us a $16 bet on column number 1. Column number 1, $16. Top level Fibonacci for us. Okay, so now we're going to Fibonacci with the $20 bets we'll start with a $40 bet because we're going to go in $20 units. So we're going to have a $40 bet on column number 2. And we're going to graduate by $10 units. So we'll go to $50 on column 1. And we will go to $60, still on column 1. And that's a $70 bet on column 3. And an $80 bet on column 3. Returning to column 1, because of the 4 being in the first dozen, $90 on column 1. And $100 up on the top, column 3. And then we'll go to a $90 bet on column 1 because of the 3 being in the first dozen. And a $100 bet, column 2. And a $90 bet, column 3. And a $100 bet on column 1. $110. Going up by $10 units, column 3. And $120. As D'Alembert struggles a little bit here. $120 on column 1. And so we go to 110 on column 1. And that's recovered to $62. So we return to our Fibonacci bet of $2 on column 3 because of the 34. That was the classic example of no matter how hard D'Alembert struggles, as it gets higher, if you can get close to back-to-back wins, it's enough. And so never fear, it's going to deliver. It's just the matter of time, and it's certainly much more civil than Mr. Fibonacci, if you will. With that win, we'll play $2 on the second column based on the 15 being in the second dozen. And we go to $2 bet, column 3. And a $4, oops, no, that's not right. $4 bet, column 1 for the 8. And a win puts us on a $2 bet. Intersections coming right along every third, fourth, or fifth spin. That's all you need. And sometimes on the first one. We'll stay there with a $2 bet. This is entry Fibonacci now, first bet. This is just as important as last night. It's played at a different pace, but it's educational in how we go about it. And it's important that we get a full rounded look at how everything is going. Goes to a $4 bet now on column 2 for the 14. And we'll stay there with a $6 bet because of the 13 and second dozen. And there's a nice $12 win. $2 column 1. We're over halfway to the 150. Working our way slowly, steadily. Intersections occurring. Not manipulating anything. No stress, no pressure. Just going about our business. $4 bet column 3 for the 33. And an intersection occurs again. A nice win puts us on the entry-level bet for Mr. Fibonacci, Mr. Volatile Fibonacci, who can be rewarding, no disputing that. And a $2 bet, second level Fibonacci up at column 3. Returning with a $4 bet there on column 2. And another intersection. Keeps us there, entry level, $2 bet. Approaching $90. Staying there, $2 bet. And a $4 on column 1. $6 bet, column 3. That gives us a $10 bet on column 1 from the 2 being in the first dozen. And we're coming to the end of Fibonacci again. We'll stay on column 1 though. $16 bet. This is Aloha Fibonacci. You deliver this time. We go see the French mathematician. But Fibonacci delivers a $32 win, and you can just say, thank you very much, grazie, merci. We'll play a $2 bet on column 1 because of the 1 being in the first dozen, where you've gotten past the $90 mark. Move to a $2 bet in column 2. And again, not even waiting. $4, column 2. Not waiting. This is all random anyway. I'm random because the world is random. The whole thing's random. We move to a $10 bet up there on column 3. And we stay right there with the $16 bet. We've come to the end of Fibonacci again. $16, column 3. And there's an intersection. Collision, random with random, yields a $32 win and puts us on a $2 bet, column 2. And we've gone over the 100 mark. We're 2/3 of the way. There's a 6, gives us a $2 bet on column 1. And we'll move to $4 up there on column 3. and an intersection occurs for a $2 bet on column 1. And an intersection right out of the gate. Entry level again, column 3, the 28 being in the third dozen, moves us to the third column. Keeps us in the third column for a repeat bet of that $2. And a spin. Looking for something divisible by 3. Didn't get it. Moves us to a $4 bet, column 2. Stay on column 2 for a $6 bet. Still there. This time $10 is the wager. And we'll go to the top for the $16. $16 on column 3. There's the 21 divisible by 3. Even my public school education proves that out. Fibonacci delivers at the end, which is always the best time to deliver. We put $2. Started again at 124. $2 on column 2. That 21 being in the second dozen. Stay right there, repeating the second level. $2 bet Fibonacci. And a $4 bet up top. Third column, $4. We have a $6 bet on column 1. And there's an intersection for a nice little $12 win. We'll bet $2 on column 1, the 1 being in the first dozen. Repeating that bet because of the 8. Intersection strikes with the highest number in column 1. Let's us restart Fibonacci at $130 profit now. On the third column, entry level, $2 bet. Staying there in the third column because of the 32. Second level, $2 bet. Now we move to a $4 bet, still up there, column 3. There's an intersection. $8 win moves us to $2 bet, restarting Fibonacci, column 2, the 18 being in the second dozen. These prompters mean nothing special. It's just a way to stay random. It's just a way to stay random. That's all there is to it. You do everything you can to stay random and you worry about nothing because the intersections are going to occur just like it did with the 5 being in the second column and the 5 being in the first dozen puts us on column number 1 where we immediately have a $4 intersection and we stay there for a $2 bet. We're at $142. Slow and steady wins the race. There's an intersection with the 7. You begin to recognize these things. The numbers are in the columns. You begin to recognize them. We're going to stay there with a $2 bet. We're at 146. Looking for a column number 1. There's a column 3. So we go up top for a $2 bet, second level Fibonacci. Moving down to a $4 bet in column 2. And there we have it. That is $150. I hope you were able to see that. Really, what I wanted to do tonight, the angel is actually the one that proposed this. It said, for educational purposes, let's do a Fibonacci, and let's just go up to the $16 level, the eighth unit. The eighth bullet is, it's kind of like at the fork in the road. And the sixth bullet is kind of like the fork in the road. I just got the look from the angel as I stepped on myself there. But, you know, like Yogi Berra used to say, when you come to the fork in the road, take it. You guys are too young to even know who Yogi Berra is. But anyway, I was intending it to be instructional tonight. It's a slow grind, but it's a faultless way of playing that you can go and just make money. You put the algorithm on cruise control. You take your hands off the gear shift, you take your hands off the steering wheel, and you just let it do what it does. 2, 2, 4, 6, 10, 16, D'Alembert. Here we go. 40, 30, 50, and you get all the money. So we've done that, and now we owe the special kings and queens level members a special session of blackjack. We're still struggling on which app to use and how to go about it, so you guys will tolerate how we move forward, but the basics of how we're going to play blackjack are going to be there for you, and we're going to have a special session that's going to commence immediately following closing down this one. To all of our new kings, all of our new princes, all of our new dukes, all of our new queens, all of our new princesses, and all of our new duchesses, welcome. We're growing this kingdom, and we're getting stronger all the time, and even as this no-nonsense, easy algorithm show tonight, you can take it with you right now and go play it. But always taking 5% of your bankroll as your buy-in. Always taking 5%. I'm fearful that people are running to the casino with every dollar they have. You've got to build a bankroll. You've got to be patient. You've got to be disciplined. And you got to show humility. That's the algorithm. Goodness gracious, thank you to all of you. We'll be back again. We do a session a day. We're going to be right back with maybe a novel idea for an approach on Martin Luther King Day, a good day to remember all that came from Dr. Martin Luther King. And the King bids you adieu.